think Kyle is happy he has a scapegoat with Trey's injury as far as the quarterback controversy. No, this is not good. I don't think Kyle's like, oh, Trey has a broken finger. Yes, I don't have to make a decision. That's the best. It's like, I wanted to use him. Like, I thought we were going to need that zone read. Now all of a sudden, I mean, I think we can beat Detroit without him. I think we can beat Philly without him, but this next 4 games, I hope he's back. I don't think this is good news.
No, definitely not. And I think you're spot on about weeks 3, 4, and 5 really start the gauntlet for the 49ers. If we struggle in weeks 1 or 2,
that's terrible.
But there's serious trouble.
Like Nate Sudfeld might be able to win week 1.
You would think.
Yeah. You would think. Marcus comes back. Oh, doubling down. Thank you, Marcus. $9.99. Also, I feel like your record prediction is a little low. Our defense is going to be elite, and our run game will destroy with or without Trey. Still wanting to start. Keeping you, though, Grant. I love the show. Well, thank you, man. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Our first segment went about a half hour. We're going to get this quick. What I'm going to say is, yeah, the Niners are really good. They have the worst starting quarterback in the division. And there's some really good quarterbacks in this division. And this division is going to be very competitive. So I'm just saying. That's what I wanted to say. Hold on. We got some more. Wow. Okay. What you talking about, Willis says Alex Smith lives in the Bay, close to Levi's. Would the Niners call him? Would Alex take it to play? Nah, man. No. Alex, don't ever play football again. That was scary when he came back after that.
Please don't.
You proved your point. Don't. Let's enjoy retirement. If you want to come on the show, we could talk football, but don't play football. Talk football. Right. Daniel says, not defending Kyle, but why do we think he needs to show us in the NFL what he has planned for the season? Preseason is preseason. Yeah, I feel that. But you also don't want to get your quarterback hurt in the preseason. I mean, Kyler Murray didn't even play in the preseason. Derek Carr didn't. I mean, they threw 4 passes. Derek Carr didn't play in the preseason. If you want to put Trey's important, don't just throw him out there with Tom Compton and Colton McKivitz and a bunch of practice squad guys. If you're going to put him out in the preseason, let him play with the great Mike McGlinchey. I mean, he needs Mike McGlinchey. I'm just saying. If you don't have Mike McGlinchey protecting, you can't. What can you even expect?
I'm all for the idea of holding back a little bit for the preseason, but I do think they should have prioritized keeping guys out there that would have protected Trey a little bit more. He did take some bumps and bruises that felt a bit unnecessary.
God. He got smacked around in the preseason. He must have taken a dozen big hits in the preseason, including the one
couple of those first ones were serious licks. The slow motion, like when you capture it and the neck's going this way, that's not comfortable. That's a car crash right there.
I don't care how big the next day. Those hits took out Cam Newton. I mean, pretty much by the time Cam was 26, his body was done. That's the way I look. Some people still think he's got it. I feel like he really has got pounded into oblivion the season after the Super Bowl, and he's never been the same, in my opinion. I like Trey even more than Cam Newton in terms of just a skill set, but no one can take hits like that and have a long-term career.
Physically or mentally. I think it absolutely has an effect on your development and how your timing and your progressions go. As soon as you start worrying about first thing being hit, that's tough.
Spencer Bailey says, are you getting Vince Young Fisher vibes from Kyle and Trey? This feels like sabotage because Kyle didn't get his quarterback. Will Trey overcome Kyle's coaching? I don't remember what happened between Vince Young and Jeff Fisher. But I hope it's not sabotage. I feel like I hope it's just Kyle wanted to prove a point in the offseason, and he really likes Trey Lance. He just feels he needs to develop like the old-fashioned way. I hope that's it. If this is it and he's sabotaging this like entirely, that would be so bad. I mean, first he would get fired, and I don't know if he'd ever be a head coach again. It'd be very serious. A lot of people want to coach Trey Lance. I don't think Kyle's that self-destructive. I don't think he is. That would be serious.
That would.
Very serious.
Yeah, I think the former is true, and I think he's going to love working with Trey. And I do think he's just that old school mentality of slow progression, make sure he's checking the boxes.
If it worked for Steve Young and Bill and Joe Montana, fair. Yeah. Fair. If Kyle really will be swapping quarterbacks throughout the game, why not name a starter now? What difference does it make? I think Trey is starting. That's what I keep saying. He keeps saying like it's not a competition, but I won't say who's starting. Well, if it's not a competition, then say who's starting. What is going on? That's the one thing I don't understand. Like, he never did this in the past. He would just say Jimmy's a starter, but now it's like, I don't have to say. Why?
It's strange gamesmanship going on from Kyle right now.
I think he's just doing it just to be difficult at this point. I don't even know if he has a reason. And if it's Trey, then he has a reason. If it's not Trey, then he's just doing this to be difficult. Yeah. And he laughs about it when he drives home. Like, he's like,
right,
ha ha ha, ha, like that. Ha ha! I got him again. Ha ha ha! That's kind of, I would imagine. That's, if you're worth millions of dollars, that's your laugh changes.
Bully for me.
Bully. No, Deion's best year was in 95. Who you think? What? He's having a conversation with himself when he starts. No, Deion's best year was in 95. No. What? I didn't say anything about Deion. Who you think was covering in practice? JJ Stokes. Bosa should be on Trent.
This is talking about iron sharpening iron.
But that's different. I mean, wide receiver versus corner is a lot less physical.
A lot less physical. I mean, when you think about those two massive individuals coming together, the torque and the force every time they collide, that's what I'm talking about.
You could do it like in slow motion on National Geographic with like music playing behind it, kind of like, wow.
Yeah, like
look at him go.
Coming together.
Yeah, pretty much. JB, that's it, says Kyle still needs to grow as a head coach. He's still lacking in head coach decision and thinks like an offensive coordinator. Yep. And I think, again, if his name was Kyle Bananahan, people would be like, yo, this is the only guy in NFL history who had double-digit leads in fourth quarters of 2 Super Bowls, lost and scored 0 points in both of those fourth quarters. How did you do that? But since his name isn't Kyle Bananahan and it's Kyle Shanahan, people are like, nah, man, it's all right. He had reasons. It was Jimmy's fault. It was Matt Ryan's fault. It was a lot of people's fault. So, yeah, I mean, I think pretty soon, if he doesn't start just winning, then people start being like, maybe he is Kyle Bananahan upon further review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But I'm not going to start calling him out of his name because I don't want to be disrespectful. I was calling him 31 and 35 for a while. It's just not fair. He's a good, he's a person. And I wouldn't want him calling me out of my name unless I really deserved it. Steven says, who is actually responsible for the Niners draft picks? Kyler John. Dude, us. Why is Trey Lance on the team? I don't know. If it wasn't for us, it might have been Mac Jones. We just, the world may never know.
The interesting thing to me was Lynch coming forward and trying to put his flag in the ground and really stake his claim this offseason that, hey, it's me. The buck stops here.
Yeah. Well, I think it did. I think he wanted Lance and Kyle wanted Mac Jones, and they took it to the streets and they listened to the fans. And Kyle Jones, and I was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to be on your own here? You want to go with everyone else? And Kyle's like, all right, okay. You win this. You win the battle. Just wait till preseason. Just wait. Lawless says, I truly feel like Kyle believes that running quarterbacks are not inept to run his offense. Kills me. Ego through the roof. Time will tell. I hope not, because it seems like all the smart offensive coordinators are figuring out that that the playmakers get outside the pocket, and those are the big plays. It just seems so like old school to be, we got to be in the pocket. We got to throw from the pocket. Like, yeah, it worked for you in 2016, but I still think offensive line play has gotten worse since then, and defensive line play gets better. Every year, offensive line play gets worse. Defensive line play gets better. Every year,
yeah,
in my opinion.
I think it's interesting what you're seeing in the fan base is less and less willingness to forgive any shortcomings in Kyle. I think what you're talking about with regard to the Shanahan name, I think the shine is wearing off, and people are starting to have more realistic expectations of what has to happen in order to be considered as elite as we may have anointed him early.
Well, it went from like, well, this guy, his system is so much better than Chip's and Tom Sula's and even Harbaugh's. And he can get the most out of quarterbacks like Hoyer and Beathard and Garoppolo. But now that Lance is here, the expectations are way higher. It's like, okay, you're an offensive genius. Turn him into Josh Allen or better. And if he doesn't and they keep losing and he's messing around and he's like, I wanted Mac Jones, fans are going to lose it and be like, can we get someone else? Can we please? Because I feel like the Niners were so desperate, and Kyle kind of bailed him out. No one wanted to coach this freaking team. It was scorched earth. Kyle came here, he built something, and now someone else might want to pick up where he left off, the way people did with Harbaugh, although they messed it up. But I'm just saying, that's the double-edged sword of building a good franchise. If you can't win, someone else could just take over mid-project.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly have the foundation here for anyone wanting to step in and take it to the next level.